The thing that turns a decent draft deck into a run-winning draft deck is knowing 21 different augments plus a few rare ones. So this guide is going to be about the different effects that you could be offered during any given run and how you can turn them into a coherent game plan for your next draft run. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming, or Matt. And by the end of this, you'll have a much better idea of which direction you should go with your augments depending on the archetype of the deck that you're trying to build, and a couple of simple rules that you should essentially follow whenever making a decision about your augments. So what does an augment do? Augments attach to an individual card and can completely change how your deck plays. Now, each card can hold up to 2 augments on it, and as you get later in your run, keep an eye out for maybe some of those not so ordinary augments, maybe some special rare ones that you might encounter. Keep an eye for those, but that's for another video. So let's dive into the augments. Here are some of the universal ones. First up is Encore, which repeats an on-reveal ability. And so if you try to target some of those high impact positive on-reveal other augments like Wakandan Tech, Salvage, Sidekick, or just a really strong on-reveal card that you drafted, you're setting yourself up for success. Overtime is going to repeat an end-of-turn ability. Now, it's strongest when you have a end-of-turn card that has an early end-of-turn engine, not something that's just a turn 6 play. Wakandan Tech should look pretty familiar because it doubles the card's power on reveal, just like Black Panther. So you're really going to want to try to target a much higher power body or something with Encore on it. Next is Regroup, which returns the lowest cost card from that location back to your hand and gives it +3 power. So you want to replay this obviously for a much cheaper card, so that way you have a cheap but strong final turn play also built in. Now there are 2 different Quickdraw keyword augments that are really quite strong. You have Quickdraw Discount, which is going to give -2 cost, and then you have also Quickdraw Power, which is going to give +3 power. So yeah, those very expensive cards, they're going to get a lot easier, and some of the cards with strong on reveals, like we talked about with Black Panther, can convert that Quickdraw power into something even larger. Then there's Reality Warp, which replaces its location with a new one. So yeah, you're going to use it to obviously get out of a bad situation for yourself, or to get out of a good situation for your opponent. Now, with that said, there are some archetype specific augments that are more likely to appear depending on your choices throughout the draft. If you start leaning towards an ongoing or a swarm style package, you're more likely to see Rally, Amplify, Superstar, and Sidekick. Now, Rally's going to give +1 power for every other friendly card here at this location. You're going to want to do that because you're going to want to fill it and protect it. You've got cards like Brood and Mr. Sinister, so they just organically fit together. Now, Amplify is going to work very similar to Onslaught. It's going to make the card's ongoing effect apply an additional time. So Captain America, Iron Man, Omega Red, another Onslaught. These are going to be really, really strong combinations to look out for. Superstar is, in my opinion, one of the most important augments in the entire game. It's going to start the augmented card in your opening hand. So if you're leaning into a specific type of deck that needs to have its strong turn 6 play, or you need to start your engine early on, this is a key one to keep an eye out for, because if it's on the right card, you could just go straight for a 5 win. Then there's also Sidekick, which is going to add a random character, any character, to your hand with -2 cost. So you want to have this on something you're going to play early on, so that way, no matter what's discounted, it's not going to really affect the curve of what you're playing out. So it's going to be much smoother later on, and you want that later to happen. Now, diving into the world of Destroy, there's Salvage, Regeneration, and Tag In. Salvage is going to destroy the lowest power other card at its location, and then also gain +4 power. So your dream situation is like Wolverine and X-23 as sacrifices that can happen over and over again, and then you're getting the extra power. And put it beside something that's expendable, not the card that you're looking to have win the lane. Regeneration is one of my favorite personal flavor augments because it's going to revive that augmented card at a random location with +2 power whenever it's discarded or destroyed. So something that you're trying to destroy repeatedly, especially Deadpool, Wolverine, X-23 again. Those random locations, they matter a little bit, but I think that +2 power on certain scalers is going to really make a big difference. Now, Tag In is going to replace a destroyed friendly card from your hand or deck at that location. So it's a recovery tool, essentially. It's going to put a useful card back on the board, and it can help you reclaim that lane for the victory afterwards, once your destroyed package has already started to do everything it needs to do. Moving on down to the movable package, you will find Maneuverable, Hot Pursuit, and Afterimage. Now, Maneuverable lets a card move once. So something like a Human Torch, a Dagger, a Multiple Man is fantastic. But what's really cool is you can stack it onto a movable card. So if you have a Rocketing Groot that can only move once, Maneuverable will now let it move twice. Afterimage creates an unmodified copy at its old location whenever the card moves. So it's basically turning any and every card into Multiple Man. So something like a Human Torch or a Dagger, yeah, get those things moving around the board repeatedly, the extra scaling and the extra bodies, you're gonna want that on every card. Then there's Hot Pursuit, where cards are going to cost 3 less if a card moved in the last turn. You want this on big cards, but you also like this on combo cards. So drafting a beast into a move deck, I could definitely see that happening, but a free beast, hey, that's awesome. Now looking towards the boost end of things, you're going to see Reinforce and Mentor. Reinforce is going to give an additional +1 power whenever that card is empowered, whether it's in the hand, in the deck, or in play, it doesn't matter. So if you see a Sebastian Shaw, yes, you'd like to see that. But when you look at things like Ironheart and Forge and Gwenpool and Nakia, and even a Black Panther really likes to see this. Then one of the strongest augments in the game, Mentor. It adds the augmented card's power to the top character of your deck on reveal. Think of the scaling possibilities that can happen with that. You play this down, all of that power goes into the next draw. Honestly, need I say more? Now let's also dive into the world of ramp and control. Overload is going to give +1 energy at the start of each turn if you are winning that location. So yes, you want this on cheap cards. You want it early. You want to get the ramping ability of the entire deck to happen early. So if you see it on a 1 or 2 cost card, really of any power size, yeah, that's a good combo. Now, Clone is going to shuffle in an extra copy of that augmented card into your deck at game start. So this is where you want redundancy to be kind of built into the deck. If you need a bunch of big cards to happen, gonna lean in that way. If you need a bunch of activators to happen, lean into it that way. It just helps to reinforce what your game plan is already wanting to do. So clone and lean into it. Now I know what you're thinking.
I just had 20 some odd different augments thrown at me. What do you do when you get offered one?
It's a lot easier than you think, because you just have to ask yourself 3 simple questions. Number 1, what is the best card in my deck right now? Number 2, what does the deck already do? And does it do it reliably? And then thirdly, is this going to trigger in most games? Follow this line of thinking and you'll be ripping through 5-win runs in no time. Between all of the different augments, stat mutations, drafts, rare event upgrades, MarvelSnap Draft can create 231,933 brand new cards. If each of those cards were the size of a baseball card, when you lay those down end to end, it would stretch over 12 miles. That's enough to go around Central Park twice. That's going to bring players over 124 nonillion times more possible new deck combinations, thanks to over 50 septendecillion new decks. And yes, those are real numbers. Every draft is truly different, and I'm excited to draft alongside you, and I really hope that you found this video helping you to navigate the world of augments was helpful to your draft experience. So thank you. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming, or Matt, and I'll see you next time.